Okay. Good evening. Good evening. I would like to call the Flint Board of Education Committee of the Whole meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. Board members, as I call your name, please reply present for the record. Treasurer Luna is absent. Trustee Rutherford.
Present.
Trustee King.
Present.
Vice President McNeil.
Present.
Assistant Secretary Treasurer McIntyre.
Present.
Secretary Perkins is not here yet, and myself, President Clack, is present. Okay, so the board will now hear comments from the public. We ask that you state the reason for addressing the board and that you limit your remarks to 3 minutes on matters within the authority of the board and not address individuals by name. The presiding officer of the board shall have the right to limit the number of persons who may address the board on the same subject. Please state your name and address before beginning to speak. Is there anyone that would like to address the board? Mr. Jordan?
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
Can you hear me? Good evening, board members. Bruce Jordan. I represent the United Teachers of Flint, 5095 Exchange Drive, Flint, Michigan. I noticed on your agenda today that there is one teacher new hire and one retirement new hire. UTF is trying to figure out now that we have an HR director, which is great. Appreciate it. Awesome sauce. We're kind of excited about it. But this staffing crisis needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed yesterday. And we're kind of stalled. We have an arbitration coming up about elementary planning periods and another arbitration coming up in December regarding new hire placement. And I think we need to close the book at some point, work together and figure out how to get teachers in here, recruitment, and address the staffing and vacancies that we have in the district. We look forward to a collaborative discussion, and hopefully we can get something settled pretty soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan.
Good evening. Josh Petrick, 3161 West Coldwater Road, to address on the subject of positives and negatives of last week's board meeting. Alrighty. Before anything else, happy birthday, Karen. All right. At the last meeting, there were some positive steps that were taken towards helping Flint schools. People have been waiting for years for positive steps to be taken. And so that's very, very good. It's unfortunate that some of those steps came with some setbacks of what gives the appearance of unprofessionalism, which members of the board have accepted as a norm. Having to repeat motions several times is very frustrating to members of the public, and the frustration can be seen on the faces of members of the board. I also see cell phones out during this process as well. Our students have the same issues of understanding what educators are saying while they are distracted by these devices. I am asking the board to be mindful of this issue. Second, and this has a little bit more concern, I would like to preface this by saying there is a difference between a conspiracy theory and a conspiracy realist. A conspiracy realist is somebody that looks at conspiracy theories and believes that they should not just be believed, but be studied. And a conspiracy realist always starts with, these are the facts. This is how it was proven that many conspiracy theories were in fact facts, like having chocolate be part of the slave trade, or that our cell phone devices are from the slave trades in Africa. These are no longer conspiracy theories, but conspiracy facts. Conspiracy theories are important if they have some basis in fact or with evidence. To make a conspiracy theory claim while also saying, I don't have the evidence, is not something this board should tolerate. Those insinuations without proof while appealing to their own authority is no different than the guy down the street saying that the CIA put a chip in his filling. Okay? If there is evidence to back up insinuations, I'm sure the public would love to hear this. In fact, it would be the responsible thing to do just to bring the evidence to light. But to espouse conspiracy theories with the only evidence being an appeal to your own authority, these should not be entertained by the board. This board has tolerated these soapbox speeches, and it's time for the board to be mindful that allowing this gives the entire body the appearance of unprofessionalism. It is unfortunate that the positive steps, the great, wonderful steps that were taken last week, could be marred because of a tolerance of the unprofessional behavior. I am sure that in the future, the board is going to continue to make great and positive steps forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Christian.
Well, my name is Mr. Hall. This is numerous times I've been to this board. I want everybody to know that my son's been targeted numerous times. I've reached out to administration with no return phone calls. At this time, I've gotten the Michigan State Board of Education, the Genesee Intermediate School District, Michigan Alliance for Families, and as well as numerous others involved. If this board does not start to get some stuff taken care of in these schools, I will start recall petitions to get people start to be recalled, because this is getting out of hand. When schools are continuously allowed to target children and to delay their education, I have, like I said, I have numerous emails, phone calls to the board, down to the board, and no return phone calls. The last incident, just yesterday, a teacher took it upon herself to call Child Protective Services on myself for a little red mark under my son's eye, no bruise, nothing like that. I mean, that can be from something as simple as a cat or whatnot. No phone call to me to ask me what's going on. No, hey, did you take him to the doctor or anything like that? This is completely unacceptable. I understand protecting children, but this claim was dismissed in 24 hours. If there was actual child abuse, obviously it's not going to be dismissed in 24 hours, first and foremost, but maybe getting these educators to understand what child abuse is versus making that phone call when the school office didn't even know that the teacher had called. This is absolutely absurd, and if it's going to continue, we're going to have a lot more issues at hand than what we have right now. I mean, is this, board's job to make sure these schools and the administrations doing their jobs? And that's not happening. When I have to start tagging people from administration and emails to principals and teachers to find out why my son didn't get a progress report 4 weeks ago, and I get, oh, well, email the teacher. And I email the teacher, well, 4 weeks ago I wasn't your child's teacher. He's still entitled to have that progress report. We know where he's at. You're completely ignoring things that should be taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Felicia Naymark, in-person direct hire speech-language pathologist, Durant Terry-Mott Elementary, and resident of City of Clio. I am here to thank you for starting to take some of the steps for right-sizing the district. While I only feel like you did about half of what the recommendation had been from Plant Moran earlier this year, at least you're starting to do that. But I was concerned about a few of the things I heard. I heard we shouldn't close Pierce because of their high test scores. DTM is the only building that is not part of the partnership agreement. So that was a little bit concerning because it seems like that does not get recognized often, if at all, that we are not part of the partnership agreement, and we are very proud of that fact. I also feel like, I know the number of certified teachers came up, and we have many classrooms in this district right now with long-term subs or no subs that are being taught with non-certified staff. I wonder how long parents will stay when their teacher or their students continue to have non-certified teachers or non-certified people supervising their children, and the learning is not taking place as it should. We have all this new curriculum that came in, and it's overwhelming for veteran teachers, let alone people with no background in education. So I hope the board will continue to think about what they need to do to consolidate and right size so that we can have teachers, as many certified teachers as possible in the classrooms. I noticed on the agenda tonight you're hiring, or speaking about hiring an SST reading person for DTM, Mrs. Ennis, Chanel Ennis. She is a retired teacher from the Flint School, so I hope you will do that. As well as Mr. Hamlin is a paraprofessional, and he was with us through a third-party contract company previously. He is excellent, so I hope that you will strongly consider recommended hiring of them. They both have wonderful track records. Thank you, and I hope we have a good meeting with good discussion as you have continued to have recently. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? Anyone? Okay, so at this time, I'll turn the floor over to Superintendent Jones for an appreciation presentation.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, board members. We do have a presentation. Actually, at this time, Dr. Laura Sullivan is not in the crowd. We're going to acknowledge her when she's present, but we have a presentation for her for the work that she's done with our hydration stations over the past couple of years. And I wanted to go on record tonight that we will be acknowledging her when she's able to be here and presenting her with a token of our appreciation in the form of a plaque. We all deserve clean water, and she has worked very diligently with our operations team to ensure that not only our scholars, but those that work with our scholars have the opportunity for clean water in our schools. So we wanted to acknowledge her, and when she's present, we will make sure that we make that presentation, okay? Okay, so if she's here before we're finished, I will definitely make sure we get back to this, okay?
Okay, all right.
And also, at this time, Mr. Clack, I would just like to appreciate and acknowledge a previous superintendent of Flint Community Schools, Mr. Lawrence. We do want to do that. I don't know how that just came on. I'm sorry. Mr. Lawrence Larry Watkins, who recently passed away. And we wanted to take the time to ensure the staff and the scholars in this board that we will be present Saturday and presenting a resolution on behalf of our school community and those that worked with him and close with him. And on behalf of this board, we will be present Saturday at his homegoing service. But also tonight, we would like to take a moment and give a moment of silence for Mr. Larry Watkins at this time. So I'm going to ask everyone to give a moment of silence for him. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent Jones. Continuing on with the agenda, I now turn the floor over to Trustee King with the Human Resources Committee of the Whole portion of the agenda.
I would like to call the Human Resources Committee of the Whole meeting to order. I will now call upon Superintendent Jones to present action to the board.
All right. And right before we present action, I would like to introduce to you all our Executive Director of Human Resources, and I'm going to ask her to just come over for a moment. I'd like to introduce Ms. Takesha Montgomery, who will be working with us as our Executive Director of Human Resources. And Takesha, if you can introduce yourself and tell the board a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. Can you hear me really good?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, my name is Takesha Montgomery. I am coming from Saginaw. The previous district that I worked at was the Saginaw Intermediate School District. I have over 6 years experience in specifically HR, and then 2 years before that I worked at Saginaw Public Schools in their early childhood department, and I'm excited to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Montgomery.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. I seek a motion and a second from the board to move Resolution 1.4, Personnel Recommendations, to the regular board meeting on October 18th, 2023 for adoption.
Is there a motion?
Support.
Is there a motion?
Oh, I thought you said, I'll make a motion
You make a motion to?
to approve the hires,
Yeah, personnel.
the personnel
Make a
recommendations.
motion to approve Resolution 1.4.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded by Dr. McNeil. Is there any discussion?
Let's hire 'em.
Seeing none. Roll call. Treasurer Luna is absent. Trustee Rutherford,
Yes.
President Clack,
Yes.
Vice President McNeil,
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre,
Yes.
Secretary Perkins is absent. Myself, Trustee King, yes. The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. Motion passes. Board, in your package is information on retirements and resignations and rescinded/declined positions. Do any board members have any questions? Seeing no questions, thank you, Superintendent Jones. Seeing no further business, I declare the Human Resources Committee of the whole meeting adjourned. In the absence of Treasurer Luna, I turn the floor back over to President Clark for Finance and Operations Committee of the whole portion of the agenda. Time of adjournment is 6:47.
Okay, I would like to call the Finance and Operation Committee of the Whole to order. I now will call upon Superintendent Jones to present the actions to the board.
Okay. I seek a motion and a second from the board to move Resolution 11.14, Authorization to complete asbestos abatement at Potter School, to the regular meeting on October 18th, 2023 for adoption.
President Clark,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion to batch 11.14 through 11.16 for approval.
Okay.
You made a motion, right?
Yes.
She supported.
Support. I
Support,
support.
correct.
Yes, she supported. Any discussion?
I have a question. President King, Clack.
Yes, ma'am. Trustee
Hey-
Rutherford?
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good, how are you this evening?
What is going to take place with this asbestos? What's going to go take place with that? Where is it?
We're going to remove the asbestos tiles and the glue pods that are in the ceiling at Potter.
One second, Chris.
I could barely hear you.
Thank you. Start over.
My mic wasn't on.
No.
Now it's better.
Is it working now?
Yes.
There we go. Okay. So this is to remove the asbestos tiles and the glue pods that are on the ceiling tiles throughout the building, and this would eliminate our asbestos within that, so we can start the renovations.
My question is, with that, Potter still has kids in it, right? How is that going to be removed with the kids still attending the school?
We would put up negative air containment areas, so it is totally isolated, and the negative air prevents any particles from escaping that area.
But also, you're putting a wall up, you're building a wall between where the scholars and the teachers are
Correct.
and where you're doing this work on the other side of that wall.
So there's actually a firewall that's in place, and then you would have the self-containment within, which is under negative pressure.
Do you know how long it's going to take? You got to have a
2 to
time
3
frame?
weeks.
2 3 weeks, okay. It's going to be cold outside. Does it matter that the heat's going to be on?
It does not matter for that part. The
right.
construction workers will continue on.
Okay. For the lead paint, explain that to me. Where is that? Is that all over?
That
Or
is throughout.
Where? What school is that at? Where is that at?
So we're starting the process at Doyle Ryder, and this is a new law that just came into effect. And it is my understanding that it's pre-K and aftercare programs. They want to make sure that there's no lead contamination that can, and a risk assessment is conducted with that as well.
Is this for all schools?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that. I didn't see that on there. That would help to have all schools on there for me. No further questions. Thank you.
Welcome.
Trustee King?
President Clark, a question to you, Mr. Henderson. When we do the asbestos abatement for the two different schools, how are we communicating that to parents?
So that is being put out by our PR group as well, and we also have to post notification, and we have to do a 10-day notification to the city and state as well.
Great, okay.
When you say PR group, who are you speaking of?
It's only one person. Good person.
It's our
Ms. Bridget?
Bridget
Okay.
Jones.
Gotta be clear.
While I got the
Sorry.
No problem.
quick, another thing, so after the risk assessment, assuming there is lead paint, there will be next steps we should anticipate.
So as long as the lead paint is contained, it is not considered contaminant to the children and or scholars. And so basically it is contained if it's painted over.
Okay, so just in case we find something,
Right.
we should expect something later on, just not, just.
Correct.
Okay, that sounds good. That's all for me.
I do have a question, Mr. Henderson. So if we just reopen, you started with Doyle Ryder, correct?
Yes.
If we just reopen Doyle Ryder, just for clarity, should this have been done before or during the process of the whole remodel?
So they come in, and like I said, this is a new law, so we had to adhere to the new law, so they have to go in and test these areas to ensure that there's no contamination from lead paint.
Okay.
You can't use the documentation from before.
No, I just wanted to
Correct.
know. Just want to get some
I
clarity.
just want to
So
make
it's-
sure that
it's new.
this law just came into place this school year with our early childhood. So we have to make sure that these tests are taking place after
course.
the law.
Got to comply. Of course, I just wanted to get some clarity. Trustee McIntyre?
And it says the funds for the purchase will come from the ESSER 3 funds, and then it says, and reduce the fund balance. Just to be clear, to reduce the ESSER 3 fund balance.
Yes,
'cause
ma'am.
We have several fund balances.
The ESSER
Okay.
3 fund balance,
I just
yes.
wa- Okay. And is there, not to be pedantic, but, I mean, is there another source of funding? Because we have asbestos and lead programs that are rife throughout the state, and especially given the zip codes that our schools inhabit. Not that it's, I mean, we could use, we have a lot we could do with ESSER 3 funds. I'm just saying, are we looking at leveraging all of the resources in the maximum way to benefit our district?
So that's a good question. But I would answer this by, however, I would answer this by saying we have to, this is a general fund expense. When I say general fund, our ESSER is in general fund. So it's a general fund expense. Leveraging other opportunities or grants that's out there would lead us to have to hold back with the schooling that we're doing as it pertains to early childhood. So it might take us way longer to go through that process than to get it done. However, if we can, if there is some opportunities out there, before we do all of the work, maybe we can look into that. But I would say we need to get this done to be able to run our programs, our early childhood programs.
Sure, but we should be able to do both at the same time. I mean, that's our sorry about that. Our duty to the school district is to make sure that we do the work, and then also we do it in the most financially sound way possible. So if there is the possibility to leverage these dollars, I mean, we should be doing that. I mean, I get
Sure.
your point. Your point is taken. We need to do this as soon as possible, but it doesn't exclude the other thing at the same time.
That is true. So if there is opportunities out there, we'll talk to the business office and try to work through that. Let me make a note, but I understand.
No further questions.
Anybody else? Okay. Mr. Jones?
Vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. So there's no more discussion on the batch. I'm sorry, forgive me. All right, so we conduct a roll call vote. Trustee Rutherford,
Yes.
Trustee King,
Yes.
Treasurer Luna is not here. Secretary Perkins is also not here. Assistant Secretary Treasurer McIntyre,
Yes.
Vice President McNeil,
Yes.
myself, President Clark, yes. The motion passes 5-0.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion to approve the batched items.
Okay, is there support? Any discussion? Okay, we'll now conduct a roll call vote. Vice President McNeil.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Queen.
So
I
should we
mean, I'm
wait,
sorry.
or should we?
Secretary Burke.
Okay, all right. Assistant Secretary Treasurer McIntyre.
Yes.
Treasurer Luna is not here. Trustee King,
Yes.
Trustee Rutherford.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, myself, President Clark, I also vote yes.
Okay.
Okay, Secretary Perkins, would you like to vote?
What is the vote?
We're voting on the batch items 11.14 through 11.16.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so the motion passes, the batch item passes by 6-0. Okay. Yes, Mr. Jones?
Yep, and I would just say to Trustee Perkins that you approve the asbestos work to be done in 2 schools and the lead work to be done
Yes.
in the schools as well, okay?
Yes.
All right. I think that's all for,
Okay. So that's all for
yep,
the finance.
yep. So I'll go to information now for finance. And board members, if you have any questions about the Holmes and Potter renovation bids that has taken place, I think that there was over 100 and,
There was 126 bids received. There were 64 for Potter and 62 for Holmes. And Clark has never had that type of turnout in their history of doing this.
Well, that's good. That's good to know. Everybody else should know about.
No, that's good, but Trustee Rutherford?
Oh, huh? What?
I'm just assuming that you have.
You just threw my hat. Well, you know
I'm
what?
sorry.
I don't
I'm
want you to
sorry.
be wrong, so I'm
I'm
gonna have
so
something to
sorry.
say. So why do you think that we have that many?
One of the big reasons is that construction is slow sometimes during the winter months, and this is a very good project that is going to go on through the winter months. So it has attracted a lot of contractors to put in their bids for this work.
So we're looking at the lowest bid, right?
We will always look at the lowest bid.
Okay. No further questions, sir.
Great job.
Anything else?
Great job, Chris.
Thank you. It's a team effort.
Good job, Chris.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
You wanna
renovations?
do it now, or you wanna do it after the vote?
We already voted, didn't
For what? What's the information?
Okay, all right, cool, go ahead.
We're at 12.
Okay, at this time, I want to acknowledge Dr. Laura Sullivan. I see her in the audience. Dr. Sullivan, do you mind coming up? Would you
Come
come
on,
up,
Dr.
please?
Sullivan.
Lauren, he said you want to take a picture. You want to take a picture?
That's your buddy? Thanks,
I'm gonna have the picture taken, but I would like the board.
Is Bridget here?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Put them bad pictures.
So as I stated earlier to our public and to our board members, as you know, Dr. Sullivan has done a tremendous job with our scholars and the work with our hydration stations. And because of that, Dr. Sullivan, our scholars have clean drinking water, and not just our scholars, but our teachers and all of the staff. And we wanted to acknowledge you last year. So you're going to be receiving actually two plaques, one from 2022 and one from 2023. It says, "Above and Beyond," presented to Dr. Laura Sullivan, "For your loyal dedication and unwavering commitments. Thank you for your contribution towards providing safe drinking water for our scholars and staff in the Flint Community Schools. From the members of the Flint Board of Education." Let's give her a hand. So let's see here. Let's see how we're going to do this picture in the best way here. Ms. Bridget, how do you want us to do this? You PR, we're going to follow your lead.
Oh, I can't see all of you. How you doing? Okay, I just wanted to check. Because you weren't feeling well, so I just wanted to check. Okay, I can see everyone. Hi. I just say that so y'all can smile. Thank you, I got about 10.
That took a lot of effort. That's it, exactly.
Can you turn that mic on, please?
Oh, she's got It's really timely. I got a phone call less than an hour ago from ABC News in New York City saying that they'd heard about the hydration station program in Flint and that they'd heard it was a model for the rest of the country, and they wanted to come, and we're trying to arrange to get another round of testing. They want to come and film the testing and talk about how all this happened and the results of that. So, thank you.
I'm sorry, but there's one more thing, Dr. Sullivan. You recently took some of our scholars to South Dakota, and the board allowed and voted for some of our scholars to go and participate. Would you tell our public a little bit about that?
So until the pandemic, every year I took a group of Kettering students out to the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. It's the poorest Indian reservation in the country. It's the poorest county in the country. Many, if not most, of the residents on the reservation don't even have electricity, let alone running water. And the temperatures get easily to 100 degrees in the summer and well below -40 in the winter. So we go and we're part of a volunteer program that's always there. And we build wheelchair ramps and we build latrines, and just all kinds of stuff for the community. We couldn't go during a pandemic, so this was the first time that we could go back. And as I was working with Mrs. Karanka at this school, and with students here on what is filtration, how does it work, sort of trying to build their trust in these hydration stations, and maybe even have a core of students who, in some ways, maybe oversee the filter changing and all to try and build trust. So I've been working with these students, and I had a conversation with Mrs. Karanka, and I said, you know, I'm not sure if Kettering students and I can really see how things could be made better on the reservation, how bad things really are on the reservation, as well as students from Flint schools would be able to see that. And could I bring some of the students to the reservation with my students and then talk to them afterwards, because I think I have something to learn from them about how I can maybe help the people on the reservation. So we had 4 girls from this school who went out with Mrs. Karanka and I and 10 Kettering students. At the beginning, on the way out there, it's 1,700 miles, so it's 2 long days of driving. And we had one van, had all the Flint's high school students, and the other end had all the Kettering students, and it was just like, you know, nobody was crossing over. But within a couple of days of getting there, you couldn't really tell the difference between Kettering students and the girls from ALA school. And already I have a lot of insight from many of the participants that came from ALA. This year I was able to pay to bring my students and pay a good bit of what these students cost to go there, because there had been a donation to Kettering for my program. And so I was able to use that to do this again. Fortunately, it's not something I have every year, and so the students and I are already thinking about fundraising and that kind of thing to be able to continue to do this work, because it really is sobering to see the life of the Native Americans in our country, and how not only did we break a lot of treaties, but we've just kind of left them really to die. And so to be able to get some energy from these high school students is really helping all of us. So I want to thank you for allowing them to go with me, and I look forward to continuing to work with them.
Thank you so much. Dr. Laura Sullivan.
So, we did everything, okay. All right, so we have come to the section, the information section. I'll wait, Steve. Good? Can you hear me? Okay, so the next section would be section 22.2, renovations to Houston Stadium. And I put that on the agenda for a specific reason. Y'all got a minute, I can tell you why?
Yeah.
Okay, so as I like to call myself an athlete scholar, I wasn't too much of a scholar athlete, but I was able to excel in athletics, and the Flint schools was a big part of that. So as of 2023, we don't have a place that we can be proud of to play our football games and have our homecoming ceremonies and, you know, have our track meets, whether it be the invitationals or the dual track meets. So what I propose is that we start a project exceeding no more than $5 million towards the renovation of Houston Stadium, possibly, I don't know if I'm supposed to say, but renaming the project or renaming Houston Stadium after Principal Bessie Stram. I feel like one of the ways to jumpstart enrollment is through athletics, and if we were to put a little bit of time, effort, and a little bit of money behind our athletics program, I believe that that would help jumpstart our enrollment back, along with the early childhood, but we'll get on that later. But the athletics is where I am. I'm big on athletics. I'm big on scholar athletes, and I think that this part, this would help a lot for our district. Secretary Perkins, you had a question?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, and I wanted to make a motion
Okay.
that we put over 5 million, how much did you
I said not to exceed.
not to exceed $5 million to restore the Houston Stadium. Also,
We just in discussion.
and the track. I was going to say, and the track.
Yeah, I was gonna get on that. too.
Also,
Well, you got a motion on the floor, so I second it. But it's open up for discussion.
okay.
Okay, so I guess it's open up. It's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion?
I would like,
Vice President?
I think you're right on point. What I would also like to say that, as it relates to the motion, because we don't know what that cost is going to be, I would like to say that make an amendment as we finish our discussion to have a community forum with input from the public, from the students, from the principal, athletic directors, and so they can tell us exactly what we want this, yeah, and adding Mr. Henderson, what we want this here project to look like. I don't think this should be just a board decision. I think we're very successful with having community forum. That's how we got to Holmes, and that's how we got to Dorrider. So, and I also would just like to say that having this community forum with President Clark, this is his initiative. I always felt like he could do this, and it's that time. So if it pleases the board, that we make a motion, amendment to the motion, that we have a community forum and discussion, and let Mr. Clark and Mr. Jones lead that before we talk about putting a cap on funding, because we have to do a lot of research, if that's.
Secretary Perkins.
Yeah, I support the amendment to the motion.
President Clark.
Yes. Trustee Rutherford. Trustee
Okay,
Rutherford.
that's wonderful, but I do believe that Mr. Foster has put some figures together.
That's what.
I don't think we need to start from ground zero. It looks like some stuff is already in place. And then also, we have a lot going. Now, it's very important. Let me dial this back. I'm a former athlete and a student. I was pretty good in both. Shameless plug. But but we have a lot going, and we want to make sure we don't spread ourselves too thin. And Mr. Henderson, I know you can't do 5,000 things at once. So I'm hoping you'll be in agreement with me to slow a little bit of this down so that you can keep control over it. Can me and you be on the same page on that? See, me and Mr. Henderson on the same page. We got a lot going. So can I put words in your mouth, Mr. Henderson? I just did, didn't I? Okay, well, he's smiling. But, and I'm just saying, you all, yes, it needs to happen, but what's our priority? We're reducing, we're downsizing, we're renovating, we're getting rid of asbestos, and we're getting ready to start something, a lot going on up there to Holmes and Brownell. So can we complete one thing and put this, not way down, but put this soon, but after we get something off the table? Can we complete one thing and add something else to it? Or you guys just want to keep on going and just have 9,000 things going at one time?
Can I respond?
Sure, go ahead, sir.
So what the idea was this was to go hand in hand with that, you know. So if with
I'm sorry. Hand in hand with what, sir? I'm sorry.
Mr. Jones.
Yeah, no, so if I may.
Go ahead. Yeah.
If the board moves forward with this motion and approves it, you're not putting a timeline on start.
Right.
Okay.
You're not putting a timeline on the end of this.
Okay.
Okay? But we get that portion of it out of the way, and we can begin to do what the motion is. I think, Dr. Joyce, you stated having a sports forum.
Yeah.
And I think we've been doing really good with hearing the public and trying to make good on what the public is saying. And so I think that would be something that, if we don't put a time frame on the start of it, then what we could do is work on the things that we're working on and then prioritize.
Right.
And I would love for the board, if we could, put together a focus for us for the next 6 months with the board, and instead of it just coming from me, it could be something that we actually put together so we know what the rest of the school year looks like as it pertains to things that need to get done. So if you don't put a time frame or start date on it, then we can have those conversations and then meet with the public as you requested.
It's on our radar.
Okay. Trustee McIntyre.
Yes, so I'm glad you brought this up. I know it's not only an interest or passion of yours, but I know that like you've got the skill and expertise to kind of lead this sort of forward momentum, and I fully support this. It's actually something that the previous board had been talking about and kind of agreed to before things sort of imploded and fell apart, that there is an interest in this isn't extracurricular activity, this is curricular. This is about test scores. This is about studies have shown that it increases test scores, it increases attendance, it makes our scholars better overall, it contributes to the STEM, you know, to understanding of physics and cause and effects, and we don't even have to justify it because students want it, parents want it, our community wants it. It's a positive thing, and the other thing that we had talked about previously is that this is also a pathway out of the school to prison pipeline, in that a lot of these, and excuse me, I was an athlete, I know you can't tell, but I actually played rugby. Yeah, I played rugby. I was tight head prop, so that was like 30 years ago. You stop laughing. You know I did it. Anyway, so with D3 schools, I believe, there is a huge amount of possibility for scholarships. And they're just recruiting and looking for not just football, basketball, hockey, but we had talked about other things, you know, like swimming and golf and
Tennis.
and rugby, thank you, and, yeah, and tennis and things like that. So I just wanted to kind of lift that up so that we could revisit that, because I think it's not separate from what we're doing, it's actually imperative to what we're doing in terms of test scores, curriculum, and enrollment.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I want to make sure that we're clear, because I know how this can come across. So because we have already spoken about renovations and what we were going to do with our fund balance, this was already a part of the conversation that the board has previously had. This is not $5 million or whatever we decide as a board coming out of the sky.
Right.
This was a part of the work that we've previously discussed that is now coming into fruition from our renovations. This is not an ongoing expense like it would be if you were paying a principal or you were paying, so this is not a thing that will go on for 10 years. This was a part of the renovation conversations that we've been having. So you know, we will probably hear questions about where do we get this type of funding from? Well, this is no different than the fund balance that we already have and the renovations that we've already started. This is going along with that, so I just want to be clear. So we're not stopping any of the work that we're doing with any of our staffing or what we're trying to come up with there, but this is something that I believe will bring enrollment back.
Me too.
You have districts around us that have brand-new stadiums and this and that. Why not Flint kids?
Yes. Right.
Why not our scholars having the best of the best? And so this is how we do. Laura, you said it best. Everything you said was great, so let me just be quiet and just say
And we got a
ditto.
deadline to back it up, so.
That's right, and ditto to what you stated. So we're not taking other things off the table that we're currently working on, but this is something that I believe that we need to look at, and I appreciate your lead on this, Mr. Clack, President Clack, because it is so important to our district.
So, Vice President McNeil.
I just want to say to the public that when we was doing those community funds, when ESSA fund came through, we took great pain and labor and listening closely to what the community want. And now we are getting down, and we've been doing checklists because we have to 2024 to utilize some of these funds. And so now this part, the most important part to some, and some is not, is that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. And we are trying to get all of this done, and I support this because many times people have community forums, they just have you here talking. But I have to say this administration, the superintendent, board members made sure that it came into fruition. And right now, this is one of the parts, it's nothing new, it's in the strategic plan. It was an addendum to the strategic plan that we revisit on Northwestern High School. And it's time for us to run to the top and be at the top and stay on top. The community has told us several times that the children will come back. We will grow again. And by us giving you something new, and I want to just give a shout out to the UAW workers because of the UAW workers, we have 28 buildings paid for.
Right.
And it is because of the union that we can able to do what we do. Now we're going to take care of that property that they left us debt-free, and that's renovating Northwestern. Thank you very much.
Trustee King.
I think this is a good conversation to have. Athletics is, well, since we, put in the sports that we played, I bowled in high school. Bowling is a good sport, I would say that. There's science behind it. I'll make sure, since we're putting out the, what we did in high school. One thing I do like to, add to this conversation is I would support getting figures, getting an idea, right? Because we all know once the plan is here, I'm gonna have questions.
Of course.
Everyone know I'm gonna have my questions for it, but I would always support the idea of building our athletic team because I had the fortunate opportunity to see our Jaguars play at Hamady. That could be our school. I mean, that could be our track, our field, our area, right? So I would always support the idea of rebuilding our athletics. It doesn't go to say without, we can give something new and shiny, but we still not fixing the inner problems, right? There's some things that we do need to address within athletics that I think we all are privy to, right? So it's good to say, let's build something new for our scholars, 100%. They deserve everything that we can give them, even more. But there's some underlying things that we need to fix and do need to address. So I don't want that to be, not on the table when we talk about all of athletics. Right. Another thing I would like to say that, no, I did say that. I support the idea. I just want to have my questions afterwards when the plan is presented. That's it. I won't be long with my questions either, Trustee Vice President McNeil.
Okay, so we still in discussion from your motion. We're still in discussion, right?
Are we done?
Another comment.
Sure.
I just want to add to this that had opportunity to talk with Mr. Tony Holliday, and he had shared with me that Mr. Norm Bryan, and I call him Mr. Munn. I'm not disrespectful of you all, but he's just been Mr. Munn to me. I don't know his first name. David Munderland. Yeah, Mr. Munderland. He's a former community school director of Flint Schools, but they have been collaborating on bringing the greatness of Flint athletes back in from the level of Mr. Holliday coached on the college level in regards to what it takes to make it to that level and also do tutorials and stuff, things of that nature. So it seems just like it's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that it just happened to fall in my lap. And I just wanted to share that. And Northwestern would be an intricate part of that because of the history of Northwestern. Not that it's better than Northern, let me clear that. Northern is a school of champions, okay? Schools of champions, okay? So anyway, as you know, let me stay focused. But the figures are there. I believe that Mr. Foster had grabbed some quotes a couple of years ago because of the previous board had talked about it. So there are numbers there. And from my understanding, some work took place at Northwestern, but it was a shabby job. So my concern is, how is that possible? I'm not even gonna look at you, Mr. Henderson, because I know you had nothing to do with that. So we just wanna make sure that we have the right people giving us quality work. So that's some of the things that we, as a board, we must make sure that we're mindful of and that we make sure that the work is done correct the first time. Thank you.
Mr. Henderson, can I ask you a couple of questions? I'm sorry. Can I ask you a couple of questions? I'm sorry. I was asking if you could come up and I can ask you a couple of questions. You may. Okay, you got it right there. Okay. So what I was thinking is the stadium part, where the seats are. Do you think, in your best knowledge, that that's still structurally sound?
I would think it needs to be looked at as a whole, and personally, I would say my first thought is that it should go, but we need to look at it further before I make that recommendation to the board.
Okay, that pretty much killed what I was gonna ask next then. Never mind. Never mind. All right, I think Trustee King has some.
One thing I did want to add, as we talk about Northwestern as a whole, is that driving range track. If we're thinking about putting that amount of, that dollar figure hypothetically, that should go towards that whole thing.
It was in there. It
Right,
was in there.
I know we talked about
Yeah.
that. I just want to put that on the record, that it's not just about shiny athletics, that driving range track. That'll set Flint schools right different apart from all of our local school districts around. So if we invest into the driving range track, bring something of that curriculum or partnering with other different driving agencies for our scholars, that's unique to Flint Community Schools. So we can do that. I just want to add that in there.
Vice President McNeil.
In this whole plan that our President Clack is talking about, that whole plan was the driving range. We even included the swimming pool, looking at that factor. And so that's why we have your expert coming in and doing a feasibility study, what it would cost for us to do those things that we had requested previous, which is the driving range, which is, I believe was the tennis court. And so we have to look at that whole process. That's why I don't think it's to put a price on it before we get that feasibility study. And we, like we said, coming from the community forum, having those discussions and keeping those things in mind, because everything that over there we had already requested and what it would cost us to do that. And so I just want to let the public know that that was part of the plan for Northwestern, the addendum that we had in that strategic plan.
So it seems to be maybe an amendment to this motion that we begin the process of renovation for our sports or our athletics in Flint Community Schools to include the sports complex and also the driving range with a sports forum for our community to understand the direction from the board and the community.
Yeah. And can I continue?
Pam, I don't know if you got all of that, but
But I don't know if she got it, but yeah.
all right. Right. We can go back and watch it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
all right. But I can't make the motion, so but you all understand what? Okay.
President Clark,
Okay, were you done, Dr. Joyce?
President Clark.
Yes, I
Oh, you
think I
finished?
was. I think because there's so much we have to do.
Trustee Rutherford.
I just want to bring to the attention, it's hard. The driving range is awesome, but you all, I don't know if you tried to get a car, how that's one of the things we have to really be cognizant of. It's hard coming across cars because of the chip and just, they can't keep cars. So I don't know how we would be able to run it. Just a thought, just to put that pin there. Just got to make sure that we're able to provide the cars with the car shortage that's going on.
So,
So just want to make sure about that.
can I respond?
I'm done. Good. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I would like to do to address that, because I thought about that same thing, would be to check into how much of the land behind the driver's training range and behind Houston Stadium actually belongs to the Flint schools, and possibly expand the driver's training range and maybe include, we could maybe contract or partner with some CDL school, you know what I mean? We don't necessarily have to have cars on hand, but CDL training is something that we could also, look into as well. So even motorcycle training, so. I mean, that would be a contract with outside agencies or outside companies, correct?
Okay.
Yeah, specifically, I know at least one Black female-owned business,
I got
local. Yeah,
She gave me my driver's license.
yeah,
for the sake.
she did, she taught my kids too, and so it's not necessarily, we don't have our own school buses either, we don't have our own food service. I mean, it'd be great to have everything in-house, but,
But we can
you know,
contract,
just
yeah.
little things moving forward, and we can just do it with the support of our community and efforts that are already being done.
So, yeah, I did,
I guess what I was saying is we could lease it out. That's what I was getting to. Just saying, look how much money that'll generate. Lease out the driving range. Just put that on the table, that's all, you
okay,
all.
okay.
Okay. Oh, you want me to repeat? You want me to try to
Repeat.
make sense out of the motion?
You want me to repeat?
The original.
Want me to restate it?
Do you,
You want, you want Pam to restate the motion?
Yeah.
The original motion that Secretary Perkins did was to make a motion not to exceed $5 million to renovate Houston Stadium. Dr.
we need
McGill
to-
made an amendment to the motion to include a community forum and to get, a community forum with the principals, to include the principals, athletic director, students.
And community members?
Input.
Okay.
right.
Yeah, take away the monetary.
Yeah, because you had it
That's
too.
what
We
I
don't know
was,
what
yeah, that's
it
what I
is
was saying.
Discussion.
So another amendment to that would be
We're gonna amend the
to,
motion to take away the monetary figure until we have the forum so that we can determine what we're going to be dealing with.
right, so the amendment is, your motion is to begin the process of renovations in our athletic department.
Right.
To include our sports complex, to include a sports forum, right? And that would be that
Right,
motion.
okay.
So, no, you
Do you agree that that's your motion?
I agree that,
Okay.
that's what I
Okay,
said.
so we looking for
now-
support? No, we have support, we just discussed. No, is there any more
You
discussion?
have to agree to the amendment.
I support it.
Yeah, so now you have to.
Okay, is there any discussion on the amendment?
Nope.
Okay, seeing none, we'll conduct a roll call vote. Trustee Rutherford,
Yes.
Trustee King,
Yes.
Treasurer Luna is absent. Secretary Perkins,
Yes.
Assistant Secretary Treasurer McIntyre,
Yes.
Vice President McNeil,
Yes.
President Clack, I vote yes. The motion passes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0. Okay, so moving forward.
Now you have to vote on it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. So now let's vote on the renovations to Houston Stadium
And,
with the amendments.
gotcha.
Okay, so we'll now conduct a roll call vote. Trustee Rutherford,
Yes.
Trustee King,
Yes.
Treasurer Luna is absent. Secretary Perkins,
Yes.
Assistant Secretary Treasurer McIntyre,
Yes.
Vice President McNeil,
Yes.
myself, President Clack, yes. Motion passes 6-0. Okay, moving forward. Academics. Where we at?
Oh, you got it, okay. You turn it over to me, President Clark.
Okay, so I'd like to turn over the floor to Trustee Rutherford for the academics portion of the committee to hold meeting.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Academic Committee of the Whole meeting to order. I will now call upon Superintendent Jones to present action to the board.
I seek a motion and a second from the board to move Resolution 25.5, authorization to approve 11S Flint Declaration of Emergency Grant and 31AA Mental Health Grant to the regular board meeting on October 18, 2023 for adoption.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion to approve item number 25.5.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved in second. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
through you to Superintendent Jones, could you explain this grant and how it will benefit Flint scholars?
Absolutely. This grant is to support Flint Community Schools to continue to have community health workers. Those community health workers work hand in hand with the school district to support supports as it pertains to scholars that may need dental, they may need support with things at home, they may need support with around attendance, and our community health workers have been awesome. And this year, we want to, this is the governor actually allowed for this year to be able to use those 11S dollars to pay for our community health workers. Last year, we were not able to have a community health worker in every school. This year, we are able to have a community health worker in every school. So we are excited about that. The center had picked up this bill from June until now, but now that the governor has released those funds, Flint Community Schools can now ensure that we're working with Genesee Health Plan to have our community health workers in our district, in our buildings, every day.
Okay. I would like to acknowledge our community health workers inside of our district. They are vital to our scholar success. You know, it's not just the educator in the classroom, which educators play a vital role, but the support staff around the scholar helps our scholars flourish as well. So I want to acknowledge the work of our community health workers and excited to see what will happen, the great things that will happen with our scholars, with the more community health workers that we will have.
Any further discussion? I'd like to add, anyone? I'm a former community health worker, and they're very vital to the Flint community. They do things outside of Flint schools. They have entire Genesee County that they're able to assist and help. It's through Genesee Health Plan, and Genesee Health Plan is very unique. It's the only health plan. It's not a health plan. It's not a health insurance, but it's a health plan throughout the entire United States. It's very unique to where the tax payers pay for it, so it's no cost to the individual so they can get their preventative care. And when you are a person that is working but you cannot afford health insurance, it's nothing like being able to go to the doctor. So not only do they have that aspect, but they provide any resource that a family may need. They're the bridge to get them there. So it's very important to keep that going. They've been inside Flint schools since 2015, since everything started going on with the water crisis. So they're embedded in the community, and to not have them there, that would be a serious void that I don't think we'll be able to overcome. But I want to turn you all's attention to the budget of this, and I want you guys to flip on the back, because the success helped me, Superintendent Jones, in regards to the 5 FTEs for the student success technicians.
One moment.
Okay, I think Ms. Fields may speak to that, right? Okay. Yes. Yeah, because the way it's presented, it just looks like the 695,000. So I just want, in case someone has questions, I'm just trying to be proactive and explain, and just be transparent with it. Yeah, it's fine, right there. You don't have to go.
We do have student success technicians, and it does pay for them as well. And those student success technicians are supporting with at-risk scholars in the classroom, not only with supporting with behavior, but they're supporting with scholars meeting target growth, and also those scholars that K-3 that need support in reading. It goes along with your poem.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that they're also in that 11S.
Awesome. Okay. You like to add anything, Ms. Fields?
I mean, Mr. Jones, eloquently stated what their position and their description is for the supports that they have in classroom. I don't think there's really anything else to add to it, other than the fact that they also really kind of like focus on helping to close literacy gaps as it pertains to small group instruction, and then being able to exclusively really kind of like hone in on Tier 2 and Tier 3 students.
Very good. Okay. Trustee King.
To make sure I'm right, because I attended the academic subcommittee before, this project for the student success technicians was the idea of Delynn Smith?
Yes.
Right. I want to make sure I commemorate Ms. Smith for bringing this idea forward to our scholars and all of our school buildings, because this will help with that literacy part. Ms. Smith came up before us about a couple of things about curriculum-wise, And seeing her flourish in her element, explain this to the academic subcommittee as I was a public member, it was just wonderful to see. I really appreciate Delynn Smith for actually thinking this through and getting this to us. We appreciate it.
Not only, if I could go ahead and further affirm her, is she a fantastic leader and a fantastic team member, but she is brilliant in being able to go ahead and construct systems that adequately support our district and help us move the needle towards our own success of raising achievement.
Awesome. Any further questions? Thank you. Ms. Fields?
You're welcome.
All right, seeing no further discussion, the motion is made for Resolution 25.5 authorization. I mean, did you motion it to be approved or, okay. Now, this is to be approved, you all. It won't need to go before the regular board meeting, okay? Just want to clarify that. All right, seeing no further discussion, the motion to move Resolution 25.5, authorization to approve 11th Flint Declaration of Emergency Grant and 31 AA Mental Health Grant to, for approval. We'll do a roll call vote. Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
Assistant Secretary Treasurer McIntyre?
Yes.
Vice President McNeil?
Yes.
President Clack?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Treasurer Luna is absent. And myself, Trustee Rutherford, yes. Motion passes 6-1 absence. Seeing no further business, I declare the act, oh, no, hold it. I like to, I like to make a motion to the board to approve 2 students to go to the Historic African American, what is it, HBCU college tour. And Mr. Jones had called me today. Mr. Jones, could you expound on that prior
Yes.
to me making a motion?
Yes, so last year, I know some board members wanted some of our scholars to participate in the HBCU tour. And I remembered that, and I was able to talk to the gentleman that has been sponsoring this tour for years. And so we want Flint scholars to be able to participate in that. And there is 2 slots available.
Good.
Those slots have filled up. And I'm so glad we were able to run into them. And so I called Trustee Rutherford, who was wanting this for last year.
Yes.
And the motion is there, but this will take place in March, but we have to put the down payment down in order to secure the spots, and those spots will go fast. So I brought it to her attention, and she's bringing it to the board tonight. And I would need to make that call first thing in the morning if this is approved. If not, those spots will be given to someone else.
Secretary Perkins.
I wholeheartedly support the HBCUs. My daughter had the opportunity to go with Mr. Rump, who had been a lifelong person that was taking the children from the Flint area, and my uncle, Pastor Alice Hicks, who's gone home to be with the Lord now, but they took so many scholars from here, and that was way back. My daughter had been at Wiley College since, oh God, she was 18, and she's 50 now, so she ended up with her bachelor's and master's degree. Wiley, I mean, it was the whole tour. She just bragged on how the tour was. The children would benefit greatly, you know, and so because of that, the people in the Flint area, we have turned out so many great scholars, teachers, doctors, lawyers that are functioning right now in the Flint area because of those HBCU tours. So I wholeheartedly support it.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
President Clack.
So I would like to just add that I'm a product of 2 HBCUs. My parents attended HBCUs. My daughter attends a HBCU. I fully support this. My only question is, how do we choose the 2 students that are going to go?
So the criteria, we spoke to the principal and the counselor at Southwestern Academy and filled in our director of academics as well. So you can choose any high school students.
Okay.
And the principal wanted, and the counselor wanted to have at least 1 junior, Trustee Rutherford said this as well, one junior and one senior. But we want to make sure that they have at least a 3.0 or higher, that their attendance is proper, and no referrals, no referrals. So we want to make sure that there is a criteria that's fair for all of our scholars, but a junior and a senior.
And my second part is, where's the tour going this year?
I'll send you that flyer. Oh, you have it?
I have the flyer. I was going to send it to you all.
Okay.
And I was just going to say the dates. The dates are March 24th through March 30th of 2024. And I don't know these HBCUs. That's why I said I was going to. I can't read it. So.
I can send it
Shameless
to all of
plug.
Okay, thank you.
you. You wanted the public to hear it? Okay.
Yeah, that's true. I know Florida A&M is on here.
We will definitely share it in the newsletter and get it out to the public so that everyone knows. We'll put it on our pages.
Savannah State,
I'm gonna try to pull it up.
Central State, Florida A&M, was it Calfin? Calflin? I've never.
Claflin.
Claflin?
Yeah.
Okay, see, I didn't go to HBCU. I went to Northwood, sorry. And I don't know this one. That didn't have a name on it. What's that?
Bethune-Cookman.
That's what this, oh, Bethune-Cookman. Okay, you need to add that name on there.
Florida as well, yeah.
Oh, it's in Florida as well, okay. So they're gonna go to Universal Studio. Look, oh, Dr. McNeil, go ahead. Oh, you want me to finish this? I'm sorry.
You finished it.
I'm finished, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna forward it to all the board members.
Oh, what's that? I don't know what that is. Oh, Daytona Beach. Oh, no, they don't need to go there now, come on. I'm just-
That's Bethune-Cookman. Florida schools.
I'm sorry, Dr. McNeil, go ahead.
I wholeheartedly support this. Trustee Rutherford has really been an advocate, as well as President Clark, of our historical Black college. But I just want to say this, Lewis College of Business down in Detroit was a Black college. I graduated from Lewis College of Business, and I hear they're bringing it back. So we will have another Black college back in the state of Michigan. Huh?
Nice.
Yeah, so they're thinking they're bringing it back, I hear. So I am excited. A lot of time our children might have a rough start in public school, but Lewis College of Business, if I had not went through Lewis College of Business, I would not have made it through CMU all the way through my master program, because they met me where I was at and prepared me to go into a university. So, Trustee Rella, were you seeking a motion or making a motion?
I would seek a motion for it, but I just wanted to have, you all to know where it came from. Okay, I'm sorry, Trustee, Assistant Secretary, Trustee McIntyre, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, and I just wanted to
Treasurer, sorry.
lift up that our, the information we had from the last board, we actually do have a Flint alumni, Dr. Calvin Derone Harvell, who's a sociology professor at Henry Ford College, who runs the Black Males and Black Queens Success and Retention Program, and he really wants to work with Flint, and it being his hometown, and he does work leading up to. So I believe Superintendent Jones was talking about having a grade point, not having referrals. Like, he actually has a program that he really wants to have this integrated with his hometown. So I think it would be great, Trustee Relaford, now that you're leading the academic subcommittee meeting, that this is something that we could actually get done and take off, because we need to utilize our alum skills, and he's willing and eager, and he's got a nationwide program that's very successful.
Good, thank you. I would also like to add, you all, you have some kids, they may not have the GPA, and they may have a little bruise or something, maybe just having a bad day, but it's nothing like having an opportunity, I'm gonna say exposure. When you take a child, I'll use myself. I went to Chicago at 11 years old, and that changed my mind.
just to go and see those big buildings that I've never seen before. And the museums had a major impact on me. And we stayed in a hotel. I had never stayed in a hotel ever in life. But just to get on the elevator and go in the room and sleep with my classmates, we had a pillow fight. But that was just, that did something to me, because I had never had that happen at that time. So when it comes to things like this, I know everybody want to get the best kid, but the best kid, just, you may not be the best academically, but you know how to act. And if a child know how to act, I would like for them to have opportunity to go. It's a difference, because they may have some barriers and just may need an opportunity to gleam at something different. So I just ask that the administration kind of look around Grade Point. Let's look at behavior, and also let's look at their social skills.
Yes.
Because one thing I can say about HBCUs, they make you socialize and you grow. So I just wanted to make sure that that was a part of it. And it only costs $850, and that includes all accommodation, meals, and fun activities. Where can you go 6 days, eat and sleep and have a good time for $850? That is a drop in the bucket.
Right.
Trustee King?
I would even go further, board. I mean, after this, as we think about budgeting, for the following year, if we really want to make a statement for our scholars, I don't know how we would do that, whether it be an application process we do, have, but we make that a point that we support HBCUs and our scholars to go places. The requirements could be simple as applying, just simply apply, right? That would create some exposure to our scholars being able to apply just to colleges, because those barriers that some have, just simply apply for us. There's so many scholarships out there that go unapplied for, just that apply for it, and then we look at it, we make that determination, or do we do small interviews? I don't know. But I believe, going in the future, next year, let's make it a priority to set aside a certain amount of money just for our scholars to go. Not just HBCUs, but just different cultures, exposing that exposure, creating that exposure for our scholars. That will really affirm our stance tonight.
Awesome. Dr. McNeil?
Trustee Rutherford, last time we had this conversation, we was concerned about spending money in clothing. So are we looking at that as well? We don't want to send our scholars off half empty and half full. So would that include some type of spending or funding or something? Stipend? We can call it stipend.
Vouchers. You could definitely get clothing vouchers, and also debit cards, to where they can have control of their own money, not cash, but that's something you could track. And also grants allow you to use gift cards and things of that nature. And also we, as the leaders, we could actually assist to make sure that they have the appropriate attire,
Yes.
and that they have the luggage and the things that they have, where they'll bring their items up to the school the day before, and we can help them pack it and make sure that
Okay.
everything is appropriate.
Thank you. So what's
Anyone
the
else?
complete budget for that one?
No, you go. I don't know.
So
Okay.
we'll look into
Superintendent Jones.
All right, we
what
just
needs
want to
to
make
go
sure,
into that.
we just want to
Yeah.
make sure they're covered. Okay.
We'll look into what needs to go into that and where it can be budgeted from. If you approve it, then we'll be fiscally responsible, but make sure our scholars are taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Trustee King.
If there's a roadblock, from us not being able to give a debit card per se, I would throw in my own personal funds that we have from, what we use for our board money that we get paid for. You can use that money to help our scholars do that. I don't mind giving that. Just want to make sure that's known, just in case there's a roadblock, with grants and everything else, whatever, with school districts.
We'll figure it out.
If there's something, just let me know.
Mr. Jones will take care of that. He has.
Yeah.
What
He
you
has
wait,
endless
wait.
resources.
Speak for yourself.
It's for me. I was speaking for me. I was speaking for me. I was speaking
I'm
for me.
sorry. Any further discussion?
It's for me.
Any further discussion? Okay, so I would like to make a motion that we approve these two scholars to attend this great event with the Klingman Foundation.
Support.
Thank you. Any discussion? It's been properly moved and support. Any discussion? Okay, we do roll call vote.
Trustee King,
Yes.
President Clack,
Yes.
Vice President McNeil,
Yes.
Secretary Treasurer McIntyre,
Yes.
and Secretary Perkins.
Yes.
And Treasurer Luna, he's absent. Myself, Trustee Rutherford says yes. Motion is approved, 6, 1 absent. Seeing no further business, I now turn the floor back over to President Clack. Thank you, you all.
Okay, so do any board members have any comments or remarks before we adjourn? Vice President Dr. McNeil.
Thank you. This afternoon or this morning, I received a poem from, could be a resident student. When people, students or scholars send us something in writing, that meant they want the public to hear it. And the title of this poem is If I Knew How to Read. And it's right over there, I read it out. But what he's saying, it's not the board responsibility. We make sure you get everything you need, but it's the community, and the community is your church, your parent, your grandparent, and your teachers. Teachers should not be coming here showing us reading scores when you got the kid in your room from 8 to 3. You have an opportunity to teach them something that they didn't have when they enter your room. I'm going to read this poem. If I knew how to read, oh, the things I could see. I could imagine a faraway place, learn about dinosaurs and creatures in the sea. If I knew how to read, people wouldn't laugh at me. So, what did you say?
Some days.
Oh, some days it's challenging being me. I see the world differently than others, and sometimes get frightened by so many letters I see. If I knew how to read, I could play every instrument in the world, learn another language, and have confidence to raise my hand in front of the other boys and girls. If I knew how to read, I thank my parents and teacher for believing in me. I thank them for their time and patience. I thank them for saving future generations. This is, to me, something from the heart. Every child deserves to learn how to read, and they have a desire to read. And I'm asking us to pay more close attention. Rick, get your kids up, take them to Sunday school, take them to those places. I'm from the South. My parents sent me to school and Sunday school to learn how to read. So it was very passionate. I hope the person that wrote me this, I honor your poem, and I did read it to the public. Thank you.
Trustee King.
I would like to acknowledge our football team that I watched play against Hamady, and our volleyball team. Our volleyball team was amazing. I think I let the guys know that I've only been to one volleyball, game in high school. I'm mad I did, because it was just fun watching like the sets go and everybody was playing. It's our athletics is. Our kids are, involved in athletics. They want to do it. It's exciting to see that. I want to acknowledge them from the football team to the volleyball team I was able to see. Happy birthday, Karen Christian. We appreciate you. Thank you. And that'll be all for me, President Clack. Thanks.
Secretary Perkins.
I would like to salute all the strikers, because they're out in the rain and weather day and night, and I'm a former union rep at the highest level. So I have been in any number of strikes, and organized labor set the pace for all of our jobs across the country. And I support them wholeheartedly, and I just salute them.
Okay, Superintendent Jones. Do you want to say anything?
This is for the audience. I'm looking at all those beautiful women in red. I just cannot. Can y'all introduce yourself? Who are you? And thank you. Take her mic.
Is there a mic?
Tariko, take her mic.
Yes, one
Is
down.
the mic down there? Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We were not on the agenda, so we didn't think we would be able to speak.
Yeah, you can speak.
Always on our agenda.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are members of Delta Sigma Theta
Say that.
Sorority Incorporated, the Flint chapter. The Deers,
The Deers.
the Deers, we are the Delta Deers, and the Delta Deers are the seniors of Delta Sigma
That's
Theta
right.
Sorority Incorporated. Our focus this year is to look at the Flint community, to focus on our children. So we decided to start with the Flint Board of Education. We will be doing reading in the spring. That will be our last focus for the year on our children. It has indeed been a pleasure to enjoy this Board of Education meeting this afternoon. I am a retired educator, 40 years in the Flint school system. The last Board of Education meeting I attended was at Sarvis, Food Service. I would like to have all of the Delta Deers to please stand. And I want to say all of the Delta Deers are former educators with the Flint school system that are present here this afternoon. We have 26 Delta Deers. We operate under the umbrella of Delta Sigma Theta. We are the seniors, so we operate a little independently, but we do support the chapter. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and we look forward to great things going on in the Flint school system. It has been a pleasure to meet the superintendent, Mr. Jones. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hold on, stand up for a
Thanks,
second. We
Delta
want the
Deers.
pictures.
Tell them we want their pictures.
Is it possible we can get a picture with y'all before you leave?
Oh, that'll be nice.
She's taking the pictures.
Oh, you want a picture with the board, Mr. Clay?
Yeah, let
Yeah.
them come up this time.
Can we do it after dismiss, after we
Can
dismiss?
after we, yeah.
Take a picture of it. Ladies, can you all hang around to after we dismiss?
We're
We'd like
almost
to take a
done.
picture
We're almost
with you
done.
all.
We
We're
got about
almost
3
done.
minutes.
I got one more thing.
Pictures.
Okay. So I just want to, first of all, I've gotten so many compliments about the board. I want you all to know that individuals, they are very, very appreciative of our professionalism and our ability to get things done, and how we may disagree, but we're able to meet the goal. And they
Right.
also talked about you, Superintendent Jones, and how they've noticed a difference in you, how you appear more comfortable and more confident in the things that you bring to the board, and your expectations of those in the district is trickling down, and they see the difference, and I just wanted to publicly say that. So I thought this was a very good meeting. You all know my heart is for the kids, and for the kids to have opportunity for exposure. That's very important. That is so vital, and I thank the board for passing that. And Superintendent Jones, I look for you and Ms. Fields to make sure that that happened, and that more students have an opportunity to go and travel and see is something more outside of Flint. Thank you.
Mr. Jones?
So I want to acknowledge one of our principals who was in a motorcycle accident a week ago or so, Mr. Richard Russell. And Mr. Russell, if you're watching, we have had permission to, say the things that we're saying. Mr. Russell was in an accident where he flipped over 11 times. And Mr. Russell lost his leg from above his ankle down. Mr. Russell is alive and well and in good spirits. And we just, the staff has just been overwhelmingly supportive of Mr. Russell. Ms. Fields was right by his side, along with myself and Ms. Pam Beard. But we just want him to know that we support him, and you are the principal of Accelerated Learning Academy, and we're going to have your back, and we can't wait to see you return back. He calls himself the $6 million man now. And so if that's what you want to call yourself, we got your back. But we love you, Mr. Russell. We wish you the best, and our hearts and thoughts are with you during this time of surgery. And we look forward to seeing you back in your position as principal of this school. So I just wanted everyone to give it up for Mr. Russell, if you will.
All right, seeing that everyone else has spoken, I'll take these last few minutes for myself. Okay, go ahead, Trustee McIntyre. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in because I really appreciate Trustee Relaford, her comments, and also I wanted to reiterate that Superintendent Jones, I'm proud to be on this board with you as a leader, and I too have seen, you know, the change, and I'm just very, very happy and grateful to this school district. We do have an excellent board. We have Trustee King, who's been leading initiatives with safety and many other things. Trustee Relaford is doing a superlative job leading the academics committee, and I'm confident that we're going to achieve great things and bring back things that we were once great at. President Clack,
Let me find you some money.
I'm just want to uplift the academic ability, or the academics that you keep championing and highlighting. We all have something that we're bringing. We're all gifted, and we have like our strengths. Trustee Luna has been an amazing treasurer, and I really appreciate all of his heart. That is a thankless task, and it's very difficult, especially given the condition that we're in. And of course, Dr. McNeil, all of your, you know, institutional knowledge and leadership and guidance, and just your friendship as well, and Trustee and Trustee Perkins with your union leadership, your community activism, you know, your love. Sorry, I don't want to get all mushy, but you know, it's time. It's time, and I'm very glad to this group, because we're doing some great things, and just watch.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's, okay, so I'll take the last few minutes for myself. I would first like to say, listening to Mr. Jones about Mr. Russell, that really hit home for me, because when I first went over to Southwestern and I met Mr. Russell, I couldn't figure out where I knew him from. We're looking at each other like, where do we know each other from? And so we couldn't figure it out. Mr. Russell went right outside, jumped on his motorcycle, and I knew him from his motorcycle. So those of you that ride motorcycles know that you might not know a person's name, but you know what they ride. So that's how I knew Mr. Russell. So the morning that he got into that accident, I just so happened to be riding down Center Road, and I happened to see that scene, and I saw that motorcycle in that tree. And so that really, really, really hit home. Wow. Not to worry, I sold my motorcycle, so I don't ride anymore. But I just would like to say that really hit home, and I want everyone, you know, when you get home, to please lift up a prayer for Mr. Russell. And yes. Also, I would like to say that I'm very proud of what we've accomplished in this past couple of months, being a member of this board. I would also like to say that we have accomplished a lot in these past couple of months. We have a long way to go, and I see us being able to jump those hurdles and knock down those barriers. I'm proud to be a part of this board. I would also like to give, because this was not just the whole athletic piece today, was something that I piggybacked on from the previous board. So I would like to thank Dr. Joyce and Trustee McIntyre for the vision. It was just, I just had to happen to come through with the, I don't know. Yeah, the fire. So, and President Carol McIntosh, because that's probably why she called me, because she was watching, so she called me. So, but yeah, the vision was the previous board that just happened to, be manifested by this board. So I want to say how proud I am. Thank you to the ladies that came from DST. I would like to give a shout out to my Mr. Jones and my former counselor, Ms. Brownson. She's there. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Thank you so much. Also, Mrs. Fredericks, Mr. Fredericks, Mrs. Miller, and everyone else. Please forgive me for not stating everyone's name, but hold it to my head, not to my heart. We love you. Thank you for coming, and you're welcome back anytime. Does anyone else have anything else to say?
I just want to give it up for this awesome staff in Flint Community Schools. We have over 800 and some odd staff members, whether it be third party or Flint employees that work to serve Flint community. And I just wanted to give it up for all of the staff that's serving in Flint Community Schools. Thank you.
Okay, so the Board of Education will hold its regular board meeting on Wednesday, October 18th at 6:30 p.m. here at Accelerated Learning Academy. Seeing no further business, I declare the Board Committee of the Whole meeting adjourned at 8:11 p.m. Thank you.
We'll come down to you, ladies, all right? We'll come down to you.